The Centre Spotcast with Joe, Toby and Ryan. Hello and welcome to the Centre Spotcast, episode 6. I had to think, 6, and we only done it the other day. On the back of a wonderful performance by England. Toby, how are you, mate?
4-0. Oh, yes. Do you know what? I know we're going to touch on it later today, but I'm just glad Southgate is proving all the doubters wrong, because Southgate, for me, is the right man for the job all day, every day.
Yeah, I've seen obviously Gary Neville talking about it a few weeks ago. Rio Ferdinand has touched on how confident he is in this England setup, and not just the players but the coaching staff as well. It's really positive to see, and I would like the public to see that as well. Because even still, right? Okay, I'm just gonna say this to all of the doubters out there. I was one of them, all right, and I've changed my mind, so you can too. Right, I'm just going to say this. We've played 5 games, Toby, and we haven't conceded a goal. That's the first time it's happened in Euros history, and we scored 4 goals last night, and that's the first time that's happened in an England knockout game since 1966. So how on earth can people still be negative, Toby?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. And I think, and it might not, but I think that the clean sheet record will continue until the next game as well. Just a little hint for my prediction there.
0-0 then, Toby.
But I mean, this team, it's something else. It really is. I said it before the tournament started. I booked all the time for all of the Euros off work, and my colleagues were saying to me, "Isn't that a waste of holiday? When England go out in the round of 16, the quarterfinals, when they go out in the group, maybe isn't that a waste of your annual leave?" No, I knew it wasn't. I just knew it. I booked the time off. I've even got the final, the day after the final off. It's on a Sunday. I've got that Monday off. Let's bring it home for the boys. Come on, England.
I can only imagine the headache after that day. I think the whole nation is going to have a headache after that day. If we get there, of course. We do have to play a very, very decent Denmark side who have a lot of things going for them since the incident. And their togetherness, I think almost matches ours. As a team, I think I said it last podcast that the togetherness of these lads is unbelievable to see, and that's got the whole nation on side as well. It's got me on side. We spoke to Ryan last night on the messages. I think we've even got him on side now. We will find out in his prediction though, if that was the truth. But so it's really positive stuff. I've got a few words written down from what I've seen in the negative tweets. I've seen, well, not words, phrases. I've seen no faith, negative, and are we going to actually win something with that sack of shit? That's what I've seen on social media. Right? So, as we said last couple of podcasts, first of all, calling someone a sack of shit when they haven't done a thing wrong is unbelievable. And I don't think you can call our performance last night negative if you win 4-0.
I mean, you can't call a 4-0 win negative, and then you also can't call a 2-0 win over Germany negative. I mean, you've beaten Germany by more than 1 goal. If it was a 1-0 and we defended our lives for the whole game, I'd maybe understand, but we didn't. We looked a better side all the way through. I mean, only Thomas Muller's miss was the only chance I thought maybe England should have conceded there. It's not being negative to have a solid defence. You look at Brighton, we do it every year. We're not necessarily negative this season, but it looks like we are because we're down the bottom of the table and we are a good defensive team. I think utterly bizarre to give this England team abuse at the way it is at the moment. We should be buying them beers all up the country. Do you know what I mean? Every player, if I owned a pub, every player and Gareth Southgate would now get free beers for the rest of their lives. That's 2 tournament semi-finals in a row. What's negative about that?
Exactly. And I just want to touch on how I reacted to the England players after the World Cup semi-final back in 2018, when the new season started. I think we played Everton quite early on in that season. And Jordan Pickford, I sit in the southwest corner, so that's quite near where the away goalkeepers warm up. And Jordan Pickford came over, not to us, but came over near us. And obviously, after giving us, some incredible memories, of course, I clapped him when he came over, and I got some very strange looks, very strange. But how can you not praise these players? So my question, Toby, is next season, when we start our campaign and we play, I don't know, wherever Harry Kane goes, Manchester City, or if he stays at Tottenham, will you clap Harry Kane?
Every player in that England squad deserves being clapped, in my opinion. The only problem is, at club level, it's hard to distinguish, like who you're clapping sometimes. So if the whole team runs over, you could want to clap Harry Kane, but then it looks like you're just clapping Tottenham or clapping City, and it does look a bit weird. But every team, I would bow at their feet. Do you know what I mean? I idolise these players beyond belief. Anyone that has put such a shift in for their country, I idolise them to the ground. Do you know what I mean? I will kiss the ground they walk on. I will do anything. I absolutely love this set of players. There's nothing, I hate Jack Grealish at club level. At international level, all of a sudden he's one of my favourite players. Do you know what I mean? I love this team. I love it.
Yeah, that's the beauty of international football. Obviously, yeah, Brighton fans will all say they don't really like Jack Grealish at club level because he does wonders against us, and he stole the title away from us in the 89th minute when we played them last game of the season when we got promoted. So yeah, there is a little bit of that, that still lingers on. Where you think you don't feel dirty, but you feel like, oh, should I really be supporting them? But absolutely, you should. When they put on an England shirt, they're an England player. So yeah, for me, when I'm watching England, clubs go out the window. As I said, except for when he doesn't pick Lewis Dunk, but.
I mean, Gareth Southgate is all Palace. Do you know what I mean? He's Palace links, Palace player. Like, he's all Palace. And yeah, I'm sitting here talking about him like he should get a lifetime contract when everyone else has said, maybe he has to go because of some of his selections. And I've been saying since the beginning of this tournament, Southgate, you're the one. You still turn me on. Football's coming home again.
Hey, there you go. Exactly. So yeah, you just stop being negative. Like, at what point do people stop being negative? Does it come to us winning the tournament? Will people still be negative after we win it? I don't get the mentality. It's crazy.
We said at the beginning of the tournament to Ryan after a couple of negative predictions, which you can understand predictions about England being negative because we've not had. In the recent history, we've not had the best track record. I'm thinking 2010 onwards. That 2018 World Cup was the game changer for me, and we spoke about what would be a success for England this tournament, and I think we all sort of agreed around the quarter-final mark would be a positive step because we've won a knockout game. Well, we've already gone one further. I would say we're looking likely to go another further. I'd say likely. I'm not going to say definite, which I thought with Ukraine was a definite. I thought, Ukraine only got to where they were through elements of luck. They only just got past North Macedonia, who they should have slapped. They got past Sweden because Sweden got a red card, and then they lost 2 other games. So I was very confident we'd beat Ukraine. However, Denmark have had good results all the way through. So we'll talk more about that game in particular later on. But We've already been successful this tournament, in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely. I'm very much on the it's coming home fever train. And I would of course, I would absolutely adore to see this team lift that trophy. But yeah, for me, if we do go out against Denmark, we can still be immensely proud of what we've achieved. Two semi-finals in the last two major tournaments. Huge World Cup coming up next year. Incredible crop of talent. Obviously, Jadon Sancho securing his move to United. Um, so yeah, so many reasons to be positive for this team going forwards. You look at the ages of these players; they're going to be with us for at least the next couple of tournaments. I'm talking about the younger ones. Your Mason Mount, Phil Foden,
Saka.
those Saka, exactly. So many to name that my brain couldn't even think of them. So yeah, really exciting stuff. So obviously the first semi-final will be a very close one. Two teams that have really shown that they can find ways to win games. So we've got sorry, I'm just going to do it the other way around. Italy versus Spain. What are we thinking for that one?
Italy versus Spain. It's I would say the two teams on their side of the tree that have impressed me the most this tournament, other than England, obviously. So that they went through. So Spain went through against Croatia 5-3, where it was a little bit dodgy, but it was a spirited comeback from Croatia. I think they probably could have won that in the full time. They didn't. They took it to extra time. They went up against Switzerland, drew 1-1, went to extra time, lost one on penalty. Sorry, they are going to be knackered. That's two 120-minute games, whereas Italy got past Austria. From right in saying they didn't. Oh no, they went to extra time on that one. Sorry, and then they went against Belgium, and they went through in normal time against Belgium. So they've played a little bit less football. They're probably going to be a little bit less tired. Italy have looked really, really impressive at both ends of the pitch. I would say Italy, not sort of always being known as a defensively minded team, but have got some really great young attacking players that seem to be coming into their own this tournament. I think the only letdown for me is Immobile has not done as much as what he was built up to do. Of course, I had Italy as my dark horses because I thought, after not qualifying for the last World Cup, they should have really done that, but they didn't, and that maybe they were a bit of a weaker team then. Maybe some of their players have now grown up to be who they are now. It's a tough one to call, but I have actually gone for Italy 2, Spain 2, Italy winning on penalties.
Okay, yeah, really good points. Something just to point out about the two sides of the tournament tree. We haven't played any extra time. Denmark haven't played any extra time. The other guys on the other side have, so they've played a lot more football than what we have. So, could that edge who wins in the final? We got thumbs up from Toby. So yeah, lots of factors to look at. Obviously, you touched on Immobile as well. I'm just gonna say what a god awful injury he suffered, but he recovered straight away when they scored. Honestly, yeah. Did you see the magic ice pack as well yesterday?
Yes, yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. Yeah, 20 seconds on the shin, and he was good to go again. Lovely. I got to get me some of that, mate. I played football this morning, and I am aching everywhere, so I need me some of that. So yeah. So Italy winning on penalties. Yeah, I could see that. As I said, both of these teams have gone to extra time. Obviously Spain going to extra time twice, did they?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. So. Yeah, I could definitely see that. I feel like they're two teams that do have some errors in them. So I can definitely see a 2-2 scoreline. I've got Italy edging it after extra time as well. I think I've got them down as winning 2-1. So I think it'll actually go 0-0 for the 90 minutes, and then all the goals will come in extra time because, as I said earlier, both teams, find a way to win, and I feel like they'll be really edgy and nervous for the 90, and then suddenly they'll turn it on and think, right, we need to win this game, and I think Italy will edge it and get to the final. So yeah, so it'll be Italy versus either England or Denmark. I've got Ryan's prediction here. He's got, of course, his winners were Italy. If you cast your mind back to the first podcast, and he's got Italy down as 3-0 comprehensive winners. Toby,
3-0. I mean, Italy are impressive, so I can't say no. That's a god awful prediction, but no, Italy have been really impressive, and if it wasn't Spain and it was Switzerland, maybe I would agree with the 3-0, but it's Spain, and Spain have scored 5 goals in 2 games this tournament. Do you know what I mean? So like they've scored 10 in 2 essentially. But no, yeah, if you're gonna come across a team that's scoring 5 in one game, 5 in the next, it's you can't expect them not to score. For me personally, so while I can see Italy scoring 3. On the other side of the coin, I can see Spain also scoring 3. So that's why I went for 2-2, because I think both teams have got goals in them.
yeah, exactly. And as I said, I sound like a broken record, but they always find a way. They always seem to find a way to get themselves or keep themselves in the game. So yeah, that's bold from Ryan, but I don't think we can expect anything less from Ryan. He's always bold. He always sticks to his guns, so we can take our hats off to him for that one.
Well, we've all done well. We
Yeah,
predicted, me and you predicted England to get to the final and win it. He predicted Italy, so
exactly.
we've all done very well with where we are in our predictions.
Yeah, for sure. He's just written as well, just a small little thing for us to read out. So of course he's said that Spain obviously had 10 goals in 2 games. Obviously the other 2 they scored the other day. But he said they didn't have to face Chiellini and Bonucci. So these two are gods of the centre back position, and if we do play Italy in the semi-finals, the final, I really fear going up against their back line. He's got their 2 possession sides, but Italy, he says are far supreme in quality means and a comfortable win. I'm not sure if they're far supreme with their quality. I feel like Spain have a lot of experience, which could get them over the line. Italy have a mix of experience and youth talent coming through. So yeah, it could be a really exciting game. Obviously that's on Tuesday, 8 o'clock kickoff. So yeah, really exciting stuff. I can't wait to watch
Another
that
thing
one.
to note, another thing to note about Italy as well is one of their star players of the tournament, Spinazzola, will not be playing the next game. He picked up an Achilles tendon injury.
Yeah.
Which, when you look at him, he's the one that's making Italy's system the way it is. I think it sort of starts out as a 5 at the back, but as he pushes forward, the whole defence shifts left and it goes to a 4 at the back. Then he can come back. He's always got the cover. So he's the one that Italy's system is relying on currently. Without him, you're wondering, will they have the same attacking output as they've had the whole tournament? For me, it's debatable, which is why I've put Spain in with more of a chance than Ryan has, for example.
Yeah, huge blow for them. I think he's been up there as player of the tournament. There's quite a few contenders that I can think of, but yeah, he's been unbelievable for Italy. You see everyone talking about him having his breakthrough tournament. So yeah, really gutted for him that he doesn't get to play in probably what would be the biggest game of his career so far. So yeah, absolutely gutting, but it could work in England's favour. Obviously, you never wish an injury on anyone, really, but yeah, gutted for them, gutted for him as well. So yeah, we've got obviously the big one, huge one. Yeah, obviously watching the Ukraine game, it's the most relaxed I've ever been watching England. I have to say, it's you said last podcast that watching Germany, the England against Germany was the most excited you've been and the happiest you've been watching England. For me, last night was that. For me, I know we were playing a lesser team, um, but I really saw how we can manage games and when we need to win, how we can win. Obviously, we played a similar team in Scotland in the group stage, and we drew 0-0. But that was a group game, so you can see the differences between how we perform when we don't really need to win, and how we perform when we have to turn it on. And if I was Danish, I would be shitting myself for playing against England. Obviously, Denmark have come across a few solid teams and have been able to dispatch them rather well. Worth pointing out, obviously, they lost their first two games. The first game, obviously, being under exceptional circumstances with what happened. And then maybe that was lingering on for their second game. But I think their second game was Belgium, wasn't it?
I don't remember Denmark. Hang on, give me one moment. I can have a look. After Finland,
Yeah.
yeah, it was Belgium.
Belgium. So yeah, you can understand why they maybe lost that one. But then when I looked at Belgium, if we were going to play them, I really fancied our chances against them. I would say we were probably better than them. So when you look at the facts and when you look at how our both teams' games have panned out, yeah, I see England edging that one. And I'm just going to start off with my prediction, Toby. I've got it down as a 1-0 England win. I don't think it's going to be goals, goals, goals. I think we'll just edge it. Yeah, I got it down as 1-0. I think it'll be similar to how we approached the Croatia game, in how patient we are, and we will control the majority of the tempo of the game. I feel like we have to, because Denmark are going to come out. They're going to be spirited. They're going to be together like they always are. And yeah, I feel like we need Southgate to shine through again with his game management plans. And I feel like we do it. The players are on side. The fans are on side. It's coming home. Toby, what's your prediction?
Well, I hope it's not. I hope it's not as nervy as that. Just quickly leading on from your point about Ukraine being the happiest you've been watching England in a long while. I would agree as well. Obviously, the 4-0 is you're comfortable, you're set, but it just doesn't get the same. Beating Germany. It's just you grit your teeth to it. You're like, yeah, that's what I wanted. That's what I really wanted. Just a little bit of revenge there. But yeah, when I look through Denmark's games, so as you rightfully said, they lost 1-0 to Finland under exceptional circumstances. But I will say, and obviously it's a blurred thing for me, but when I watched because I didn't watch the Denmark Finland game when it all went down, but from the highlights, it looked like Finland were on top until that happened, and then obviously from the replay, again it looked like Finland were on top until they were 1-0 and then started defending. Then you go to Belgium. Obviously, you expect Belgium to beat Denmark, but I feel like Denmark put in a good performance. I think they went 1-0 up early, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, you sort of expect Belgium to win that. Then the only teams they've beaten are Russia, who they beat 4-1, Wales, who they beat 4-0, and Czech Republic, who they beat 2-1. I looked at that Russia game, last of the group. I think Russia are probably, they knew that it was probably over for them early on and let in a couple. The Wales, again, they were 1-0 up and it was looking tough, and then they went to 2-0, they went to 3-0, and they went to 4-0. So, that game was only because Wales had lost their heads. Against Czech Republic, they didn't impress me at all, because I watched that one last night as well. Yeah, they went 2-0 up, but as soon as the first time Czech Republic showed anything threatening, they scored from it, and then they didn't threaten again for the whole game. And I think that was largely due to Czech Republic and the way they play, rather than how Denmark play. So I'm fairly confident that Denmark are a much worse team than England compared to who England have had to beat on the way here. World Cup finalist Croatia, arch nemesis and good team Germany. You know, we've had to come through quite a lot to get here. I think we're going to be the better side on the day. I don't think it'll be as comfortable as Ukraine, but I think it'll be comfortable. I'm going to say England 2-0 in 90 minutes.
Cool. Yeah, 90 minutes. That's what I want. I don't want any nervy extra time. I definitely don't want penalties. My heart cannot take it. And just leading up to this week, I'm just going to touch on something personal for me. Today, on the 4th of July, is my wife's due date. So any time between now and the final, my daughter could arrive. So that's rather exciting in itself, of course. So yeah, I've been painting these dreams of my daughter arriving on the same day as the final. I watch England win a major final, and I've got my newborn daughter in my arms. That for me, if that happens, that will be life peaked. I think. So yeah, really can't wait for this next week. And yeah, I hope it's as comfortable as you said, Toby. I really hope it's a 2-0 win. We control the game. As I say, we need to control the tempo, because if Denmark get a sniff, they will hurt us. Just like Germany, I think we need to approach it, as I say, the same as Croatia, the same as Germany. Set up, as people say, negatively. And just control the game and see it out and win it. And then, yeah, get us to the final in front of 60,000 raucous England fans. Yeah, I can't wait to see those scenes. Funny enough, right, Ryan has been probably the least optimistic for England in our predictions. I've said 1-0. You've said 2-0. Ryan has gone England 3, Denmark 0. How about that, Toby? First of all,
this does bring a smile to my face.
first of all, just your initial reaction on the scoreline, because yeah, we've been saying to Ryan this whole time, believe, Ryan, believe. And as I said, we spoke to him last night, and he's finally seen the Southgate light, Toby.
Do you know what though? I love his optimism for this game. Do you know what? I think it'll be comfortable as well. And I was teetering on the edge of 2-3-0. If I could go 2.5-0, I would. but I can't. So I stuck with 2-0. I thought I would be more realistic, and I am absolutely buzzing that he's come around and seen the Southgate way. The only problem is now for the final, if we go out there and slap Denmark up, let's say we get another 4-0. And Italy go through against Spain, and it's a 3-3 after extra time, and Italy have only just scraped it on penalties, and they've got 4 injuries. Then I'd be looking to the final, and I'd be saying, well, that's an England win, that is. But I know that because he predicted Italy to win it, then we've not actually fully brought him round to the Southgate hype, because he still predicted Italy to win it. I'm hoping that we can batter them enough that Ryan will change his winner prediction and then go for the final and get an England win in the predictions.
That would be unbelievable. I think, as well as England winning the tournament, I think that would be the biggest win.
Yeah.
When people make these predictions, you like to think they'd stick with it. So I'm sure if it's an Italy-England final, Ryan's going to be torn. So he's probably hoping for he's not hoping for a Spain win. He's put it down for Italy, but he'd probably like it to be Spain, so we don't have to play as winners.
I'd take Spain as well. I would take Spain. If Spain went through, I'd rather play Spain than Italy.
100%. I feel like Spain have shown that they are vulnerable. They are capable of a few mistakes at the back, and our players. we will capitalise on that every day of the week. You saw how quickly we come out the traps last night against Ukraine, and that just set us on our way to an unbelievable game. Ryan has just put a little message in there as well. He's got a train of England confidence and swagger is rolling towards the title, and England are in first class. Denmark looked pretty poor at various points against Czech Republic, and it's going to be a stroll in the park at Wembley. Yeah, I feel like that's a really good summary. I hope it is a stroll in the park. I hope that Raheem Sterling, the boy from Brent, delivers again in his back garden, and sends us on probably one of the best weekends we've ever known. So yeah, really exciting stuff. 60,000 fans. I still can't get myself over that. Like 60,000 fans.
Goosebumps.
Oh, honestly, I yeah, I'm so excited. And I would love to be there. Like, just imagine how that feels. Imagine that roar of the crowd. 60,000 when an England goal goes in. It was loud enough against Germany. So, and that was only 22,000, wasn't it?
I think it was. Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
Mental.
but
Absolutely mental.
oh, my just as we're talking about it, the goosebumps on my arms and my hairs are standing up, and it's really is this country really does have a way of just bringing such a sense of joy to my heart. You know, it's and as you said for your personal level. If that goes in and England go through and they win the tournament on the same day for you, what a story! What a story this whole tournament is. Do you know what I mean? Beating Germany
Yeah.
en route. I said it. I said it in my argument with Ryan a few podcasts ago. The story is right in itself. Not only for you, on a personal level for me. I've had the toughest year. My dad's not been well. Unfortunately, had cancer, but even this year, we've just celebrated his 100 days, meaning that his stem cell transplant successful. So on a personal level for me, this tournament came at the right time. He's able to celebrate it with me. I'm round his for every game. I as much as I'd say, I'd love to be at Wembley, there's no person I'd rather spend this with at the moment than my dad. And we're going through, I spent 2010 World Cup, I spent that with my dad. When Lampard scored and it was wrongfully taken away from us against Germany. Yeah. So the story is right in itself from bottom to top. It's all there. All we have to do is just seize the moment.
Exactly that. And as you say, as you were telling me that, Toby, the hairs on the back of my neck were standing up. Obviously, how incredible that would be after such a tough year for yourself, to celebrate that with your dad and have that euphoria, and the absolute. I can't even put it into words because we don't know how it feels. We haven't won a major tournament before in our lifetime, so yeah, we don't know how it feels. And I exactly the same as you. I was there in 2010, sat there with my dad, crying as we got knocked out to Germany, lost 4-1. The likes of Lampard, Gerrard, Rooney, Terry. You were thinking, surely this is the England team to win us the World Cup. It has to be. And so many stories like ours are going to be written all over the country. You're going to know where you were when this goal went in. You're going to know who you were with. You will know what you were saying, what you were wearing, what the weather was like on that day. And in 20 years' time, I hope and pray that we are looking back on this tournament and saying that was the summer of our lives. For me, it will be for me anyway because my daughter's being born. But to have that on top, yeah, you couldn't write it. You just couldn't.
I think for you as well is it's always going to be a tough one if you have a second born that comes out being a boy. You weren't born when England won a major tournament, so
exactly. You know what, mate? I'll plan it around the 2024 Euros.
Yes.
How about that?
Yes, please.
Seems to be a good omen.
Yeah.
My wife Tony, if you're listening, then 3 years time. But yeah, we'll see. Yeah, I don't know what more to say really than in everyone in this country just enjoy these last couple of games. Hopefully last couple of games. If we lose, be proud. If we win, fucking hell, stay off the drink because you got another big one on Sunday. And yeah, just really, really enjoy it and take it all in because this might not happen again for another 55 years.
Well, I
Um,
promise you one thing: I'm not staying off the drink on Wednesday. I promise you that. I've booked the day off. I'm gonna make the most of it because when the ball is kicked, what is it? Kick off 8 o'clock, I think it is. When that ball's kicked by the last kick of the game, it may be the end. It may just be the start of what is going to be another party for the final. But I know I'm just going to make the most of it because, as you say, the semi-finals don't come around often. I know we've had two in the last two tournaments, but that is not the normal. That is not the normal thing for any country, let alone England. Do you know what I mean? France aren't here, and they won it. They won the World Cup. France didn't
yeah,
get to this stage. You're thinking Croatia didn't get to this stage. They were also in the semi-final. Belgium didn't get to this stage. They were also in the
Portugal.
semi-final. Portugal, yeah, they won the last Euros. It doesn't come around this often to be this consistent as a team. Let's just enjoy it. Let's not get on the players' backs. If someone misses a penalty, we don't hate them for years. They're a hero for stepping up to the plate. Do you know what I mean? There are millions of people in this country that wouldn't step up to a penalty for their country. We applaud them if it comes down to a penalty. I'm hoping it doesn't, but just be there. Just shout so that they can hear you from Worthing to Wembley or from, Newcastle to Wembley. I want to hear everyone's voices. I want to hear all the screams up and down every street in the country. I want Wembley Stadium to erupt. It's going to be such a good day if we can get through to that final. Come on, England.
100%.
Bring it home.
100%. Can only echo that. Yeah, it's going to be unbelievable. Yeah, as you say, if it does come down to a penalty, don't make another Gareth Southgate moment. Okay, yes, it will be absolutely fucking gutting, but any of these players that miss a penalty, touch wood, it doesn't happen. But in 25 years, they could be the next Gareth Southgate, leading us to another major tournament final or semi-final. Who knows? So yeah, really touching interview after. I think it was after the Germany game. Where I think they asked, "Is this redemption for 25 years ago?" And he said, "I can't change what happened to the players that I was playing with. I can't change that. I can't replace that memory. That memory still remains with them. But what I can do is lead these players onto a new story." And he's doing that. He's writing a new story for himself. He's done himself so proud. He's done his country so proud. Just get behind the boys. Come on, England.
I think one other thing as well. Sorry, I'm not sure if it's going to be a short one or not, but this is quite an interesting topic of conversation. Actually,
Yeah.
I was watching a piece on Sky Sports. I think I mentioned it last time, where it was about trying to make a reunion out of all of the '96 boys, and I think it was Gary Neville spoke about when England moved to St George's Park as a training facility. All of the players of that generation, so it even goes up to sort of the Rooney generation of player, they all hated that move to St George's Park because it was further away from them. It wasn't in central London. It was further away for them to get to. It was in a bit of the middle of nowhere, so they couldn't go partying after training, stuff like that, And they were saying how they don't think that the tournament was ever won or England teams weren't good because of that move to St George's Park, creating such a negative atmosphere around the team. Just wanted to know what your thoughts were on that. Do you think that moving a training facility would change the players?
No, I think it's done the opposite. I think it's changed the way that the players view going away to play for England. I feel like because it's such an incredible training complex, that it feels a lot like what they have at their clubs. I know not all of these players have incredible training facilities, But you look at the likes of the Liverpool training complex, City, Chelsea, Arsenal, Tottenham. They're unbelievable facilities. So I feel like it just mirrors what they're used to at the club level. Um, and I feel like there's a huge credit that has to go to Gareth Southgate for how these players react and are with where the training complex is. As you say, it's quite far away from the players that are down south. Um, they're not near their families. They have to stay, in I think it's like a hotel type thing at St George's Park. Um, but yeah, it's a huge credit to how Gareth Southgate has changed that. I think maybe that was the case back in the Rooney days, the Lampard days. But as we touched on a couple of podcasts ago, or last podcast, that team never had togetherness anyway. Doesn't matter where you put them. They were going to separate into their clubs. They were going to go to see their best friend and not talk to someone that plays for Tottenham or plays for Chelsea. Um, so yeah, I think it's just a huge credit to the England staff that have made it feel so much like a home for when they go on international duty. It doesn't feel like they're going away. They're going to play for England. They've brought back the meaning of the three lines on your chest. When you're playing for England, you're here in St George's Park, and we're going to make it as much as a family as we can, because it can't be easy being away from your family for this long, staying in the England bubble, etc. So yeah, it's just a huge credit to them.
Yeah, I think every player that plays for England now just loves playing for England, loves the shirt, um, which it makes you really proud to see, especially when you're winning. It just makes it feel really really good. Um, it's special every time someone goes to play for England, which I think we didn't have for a long time. It would be it wouldn't for me at least, it wouldn't matter who's called up to the England squad. I wouldn't check it. I wouldn't check what the players are that are going to lead us into the next tournament, because you just knew it would be, oh well, it's going to be Rooney, it's going to be Lampard, it's going to be Gerrard, it's going to be Terry, it's going to be Ferdinand. We knew who it was. They all had their places picked for them. Now it's, oh, who's played well enough to do it? There's so many players in contention. Who's going to be the ones that have shone out from the rest? So yeah, no, I'm excited by this England team. One thing that I do need to say though that I'm not excited for, a little bit apprehensive for, the last two games against Denmark were in the Nations League in September and October of 2020 after the World Cup. I say after the World Cup because it was in 2018. Obviously, this is more recent history. Is we drew 0-0 with Denmark and we lost 1-0 to Denmark. So within the last year, we've proven that we can lose to them. So I don't want to make us sound like we're overconfident in an England win. That's the only thing.
No, I think as well. Obviously, yeah, I know it was a Nations League, but back then I think Gareth Southgate was still experimenting a little bit with preparing for the Euros. And maybe it just didn't quite work out on that day. I think we got 2 red cards as well on that day.
Don't remember actually.
I'm pretty sure I saw a Harry Maguire and a Reece James red card when I looked at it earlier today. Correct me if I'm wrong. And Denmark scored from a penalty.
Oh yeah, no, you've got it right. But well, no, it's Harry Maguire early on, but then Reece James in the 94th minute. So
so that didn't really have much bearing. But yeah, so there could have been so many things that contributed towards that. Of course, that's in the middle of the season as well. Maybe players were having tough times at their clubs.
Also, one thing, I really don't want to sound disrespectful when I say this at all, because I would rather have him well and playing, but Christian Eriksen was the difference maker in that last game. Man in the match performance, scored the penalty. As much as I would much rather have him playing fit well, and I'd rather him play football for the rest of his career until he retires peacefully. It is a point to make that Denmark are without who I would say is their best player. And I don't want that to sound disrespectful, so please don't take me the wrong way. But
yeah, of course. Whenever any team is without their best player, whatever under whatever circumstances that may be, for England, yes, it is a plus. But as you say, you don't want to sound disrespectful. As you say, we would much, much, much prefer Christian Eriksen to be at this tournament, and going all the way with this Denmark team if that is what happens. But I personally don't feel that bears any doesn't bear on what I think the result's going to be, because I think Denmark have a few other players that have come through and really shown their quality, and they do still have players to hurt us and players to take this game by the scruff of the neck like Christian Eriksen did back then. So yeah, it's not too much of a miss for Denmark, but absolutely, if I was Danish, I would much, much prefer to have Christian Eriksen in the team, firing, pulling the strings, and setting up Braithwaite and Dolberg. So absolutely, yeah, really excited.
And may he recover fully
Absolutely.
as well. I don't think we'll see him on a football pitch again, but boy, I would love to see it in maybe like a testimonial or something where he could take it easy, get subbed off whenever he wanted, that sort of thing. But I don't see it happening personally, unfortunately.
No, I don't see it happening. We saw I don't know if you saw it, Toby, but I saw a picture of him with a fan. The first time he's been pictured with a fan after his operation, and his recovery. Seems to look really healthy, really happy. So yeah, we just really, really hope that he can recover well. And if he can play football again, he can do it with the correct monitoring and the correct care. But I think if I was Christian Eriksen, there would be no way I'd get back on the football pitch at that level, especially with 2 kids and a wife.
Yeah, no, I think it's the right decision to maybe go into punditry or something. I'd still like to see him in football because he is a cracking player. Honestly, I any team that gets a motivated Christian Eriksen is immediately a better team. I think he on his day he goes to any club in the world and he's one of the better players there. So it's it is sad to see that he might not be able to play again. But as you say, Denmark have been spirited by him. Do you know what I mean? He's probably still talking to those Denmark players. Do it for me, and then he'll probably even give them tips the same way Ronaldo when he got injured in the European final last time. He said he was basically a coach for them. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm glad to see he's going to come out of this alive at least.
Exactly that, and there is no doubt in my mind that he's still involved in some way, as you say. You saw how close the Denmark team are, how much that's stuck them together in the hard times. That they've gone through the hardest thing a footballer will ever have to go through. So if I was Danish, for me, I'd be saying, right, we've gone through something that's this difficult. A semi-final's nothing. A final is nothing. If we can overcome that, if we can bounce back from that, we can do anything. That's why they scare me. It's because of how together they are, and they do have quality to hurt us. They do have a good game plan. They can score goals. They're solid throughout. They've got an incredible spine in their team, an unbelievable captain, and then an unbelievable vice captain as well. So yeah, I can't write them off, and I'm gonna go out there on a limb and say, right, okay, Denmark, if you do beat us, I want you to win the final.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So yeah. I think we'll. Sorry, my phone just went off. How rude of me. I think we'll leave it there, Toby. Because if I talk more about England, I might get so excited that I have to run away. So yeah, really excited. As we say, get behind the boys. Remember where you are. Take it all in. Enjoy every second. And we'll see you on the other side. Yeah, nice one, Toby. Cheers for that, mate. Enjoy the game on Wednesday with your dad. Send him my best wishes. And best of luck, mate.
Good luck to you too.
Cheers, buddy. Take care. The Centre Spotcast with Joe, Toby, and Ryan. Ah, you thought you got rid of us. You haven't. A little bonus segment for you guys. We just because of what's happening in my personal life at the moment. I don't know if I'll be able to record a finals prediction, Toby. So let's do one now. Let's go out on a whim and say if it's England versus Spain or England versus Italy, what do we think is going to happen? Of course, this is presuming that we beat Denmark. So who knows? This could be really silly and not worth it at all, but let's give it a go. Toby, if it's England versus Italy, what are you saying?
Yeah, the other thing to note as well is that the only reason we're doing England is because England, we had to win all three convincingly, whereas Italy and Spain, we can't really separate. So that's the only reason we've chosen England to go through, just based on the likelihood, based on the betting odds, etc. England do look more likely to go through. So that's the only reason we're predicting that. Again, we could look really silly, but we just have to roll with it. So if it's England versus Italy in the final, wow. Just thinking about it now, it almost feels like I'm in the final. But no, I don't see us getting to a final and chucking it away. I don't see that. We've had no goals conceded the whole tournament. I'm going to assume that we're going to beat Denmark with no goals conceded again. And I think England bring it home. 1-0. Go on, England.
1-0 against Italy. Okay. I've not gone as confident as you playing Italy. I've gone England 1, Italy 1. After extra time, it's going to penalties, mate. I'm so sorry. It's going to penalties. England win on penalties in the final at Wembley. The crowd goes mental. Jordan Henderson scores the winning penalty. I'm going to say it now. Jordan Henderson's going to score the winning penalty. Redeem himself for the Colombia miss back in 2018. And, it's going to be scenes. Absolute scenes. If we play Spain, though, what's going to happen?
If we play Spain, then I think we're loving life 2-0.
Same. I literally just wrote that down. England 2, Spain 0. Harry Kane brace.
Do you know what? I'm going to go for Sterling to score at a Wembley final and Kane to score one as well.
Oh, man. Raheem Sterling. He's got to. Surely.
He's done it all tournament. He just loves Wembley.
He does. If you think he's shit, he's going to score a goal. Yeah, that's another thing. People keep writing off our players, right? It happened with Harry Kane. And then he goes, and now he's on 3 goals this tournament. Fucking brilliant.
Just love it. He's you can't write off a player like him. I think even in the podcast we were saying, I'm not sure if it was me, I think it might have been Ryan or maybe yourself, but people were saying, he's got to be dropped in the last group stage game to, threaten his position a little bit so that Calvert-Lewin could go in. And it looks likely then that if Calvert-Lewin scores that he starts in the knockout, but you cannot leave out a player like Harry Kane because it doesn't matter where, it doesn't matter when, he's going to pop up. He's going to. He's such a good player, it's ridiculous. He's a next level athlete. He's talking about once he's retired from football, he goes to NFL and starts doing it there. I'd have no doubt he'd be one of the best players. He's such an incredible athlete. He just loves putting his body through all sorts of stress, but actually he's one of the best people for it. Yeah, he's Harry Kane and Sterling for me. If we play against Spain, we win 2-0.
Yeah, I would love to see Harry Kane end with a golden boot after everyone has doubted him so much. I would love him to get a little tasty hat trick against Denmark. I know I haven't predicted us to win 3-0, but I'd love to see it. Um, I thought when he, that bullet shot that he done yesterday at 3-0, I was thinking, "Oh, if that went in, I know Schick scored from the halfway line, but if that goes in, that's goal of the tournament for me. Unbelievable technique. And that would have taken the fucking net off of the goal. I'm sure of it.
Yeah.
Fantastic save from the keeper. And then we go and score from the corner. Yeah, the other thing about England, we are ruthless at the moment. We really are. We're finding our feet in games, and as soon as we're comfortable, bang, there we are. Luke Shaw is having a tournament of his life. Yeah, props to all of them. We're gonna just say, I'm gonna say, I don't want to put words in your mouth, Toby. Ryan's probably gonna predict Italy to win if we played England, because he's got Italy as his winners. But as we said earlier, I don't know if it was in the podcast or off the podcast. If we can convert Ryan to predicting England to win it over his winners, job done.
Yeah.
We did message him to try and get his predictions for this. This was a little last minute idea that Toby had, but we didn't get a reply. So
we've just got a reply live in right now, and we've done it. 2-1 England. Caden Phillips is coming home.
Breaking news. Ryan predicts England to win 2-1 in the final. Is that for both finals? Because we asked for Italy and Spain.
He's only given us the one, so we'll just take it for both.
We'll take it for both before he says anything else. Run, Toby, run.
Yes.
Podcast done. Bye. Oh, brilliant. Oh, the hashtag it's coming home. We love to see it. Phillips as well on the score sheet.
It'd be a big story, that, wouldn't it?
Yeah, huge. Huge. Wow. Okay. We'll take it.
I think, wow. I just, if you can convince Ryan to come back with a 2-1 England after predicting Italy as his winners,
there you go.
We've looked so good the entire tournament. I just think if we get to the final, there's no chance we're bottling it. I think it'd be a cagey affair, but I think you've always got to be kept on your toes in a final. Yeah, it'll be 1-0. If we're against Italy, it'll be 1-0, similar to that Chelsea Champions League final where it's just the one goal and then that's it for the rest of the game, and we're all sitting there, nails all gone, and we're all sitting there. Final whistle blows, we can all just erupt, beer in the air everywhere. Like I said before, the box parks, the fields, the beaches. There's just going to be beer everywhere. Do you know what? The first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to celebrate it there with my dad. The next thing I'm probably going to do is get out on the street. I reckon there'll be street parties everywhere, across the whole United Kingdom. People are going to wake up. They're going to be mad at their neighbours. No one's going to care. All the conflict, all the drama. Bring it home, England. We want to see it. We want to see this. Come on.
Absolutely. And Toby, you don't live far away from me at all. So on the streets, mate, if we beat Italy, Spain, I don't care who we beat, but I'm not gonna say if. I'm not gonna say if anymore, Toby. When we win the final. When we win the final, I'll meet you out there. I'll see you on South Street.
Yes. Oh, this is gonna be. Oh, it's a shame though. I'm actually in Worthing for the final, unfortunately, at my dad's.
Oh, well, I'll meet you halfway.
But this is gonna be. It just gets you tingling.
I just can't cope anymore, Toby. I have to actually, when it's not a football day and when we're not recording a podcast, I literally have to switch myself off to football because I literally can't cope with thinking about it because I get so excited and so nervous. I get so nervous that I don't want to eat my dinner. I get so nervous that I can't sleep. This is what football does to me. I'm 25 years old and I'm going grey.
It's ridiculous. I mean, I'm 23, turning 24 this month. And I'm the same. Do you know what I mean? I'm convinced that a few grey hairs have fallen out. My partner's telling me you're going grey. I'm thinking, where? Where? It doesn't look like it. And then all of a sudden I'll find one. Football. What are you
Yeah.
doing?
Oh, football does it to you, mate. I've got bags under my eyes. I've got sleep debt. I'm gonna have even more sleep debt when our daughter arrives. What a time to be alive, Toby. What a time. So yeah, that was our little bonus. Don't know if you've got anything else to add, Toby.
Just 2021, the year of everyone's life in the UK, anyway. Well, in England, anyway, because I think England will bring it home. We're all out of lockdown in just over 2 weeks. It's looking like that's going to be confirmed. No masks, no social distancing. We're going to be out.
Beautiful.
The sun's going to be shining. Oh, come on, England! You've got to just complete the circle. Complete the circle,
They have
England.
to. They have to. They really do. But yeah, Toby, enjoy it, mate. You guys listening, enjoy it. Take it all in, as I said earlier. Yeah, it's coming home.